Hey everybody, welcome to Cage My IQ. Hey everybody, welcome back. I am Dan Bakley. This is my co-host Gary, and today we have the wonderful idea to have Pope on. How's it going, Pope?
It's going pretty good, man. Thank you guys for bringing your boy here to be a part of this opportunity, if you will, this live stream that you guys got going on. Just got a whole lot better, Daddy, because your boy Pope is here.
You know it.
So I want to start off by saying Cage My IQ is brought to you by Manscaped, precision tools for your family jewels. They sent us a little lawnmower. It's got a nice little light on it so I don't nick my boys. Daniel, I believe we have a code for him that can get him 20% off and free shipping.
There's one code. It's CMI 2020, or you can also use ML 2020 for mainline.
Today, we're also trying to bring attention to the Love Alive charity. And that brings us to our guest, Mr. Elijah Burke, a.k.a. the Pope. Mr. Pope, can you tell us a little bit more about your Love Alive charity?
Well, I mean, first off, you guys are talking about manscaping this and that and shaving and knitting your boys. What the hell type of program are running over here?
It's clean as we can be, I guess. It's 2020. You got to groom, man. You got to groom.
I mean, I don't have a problem with grooming, but I'm going to keep that to myself. Nonetheless, I'm down with Manscaped, and that's all good and well. But I hope you guys ain't got no only me fan accounts opened up where you're displaying that.
And not yet. If our fans start clamoring for it.
Anyway, man, it's real simple. The Love Alive charity, this is my charity I started all the way back in 2012. We deal with impoverished communities. We deal with the homeless. We deal with the battered and bruised and individuals that's living in shelters, the forgotten, as we like to refer to them as. And basically, my charity is there to be an assistance to all those that I just mentioned, and even those that are not in those type of situations of being in need. So we have an event coming up on January 9th, 2021. And what's so unique about my charity is, number one, we are not government run, okay? So we're run directly off of the public donations and out of the money that comes out of my own pocket. That's number one. But what we look forward to doing in this upcoming event is we clothe them. We give them, you name it, shoes, shots, shirts, blankets for those that are on the streets. We feed them. We give them hygiene needs, as you just mentioned, all of those variables that are needed to keep yourself clean. We give those out. And we also give book bags filled with tools for the kids to achieve academic success while they're in school. So we try to do as much as we can. I never feel like it's enough, but those people that come out there and line up for hours, they line up for hours just to get what we're given. And then more importantly, what I take pride in is the fact that we feed these people not out of a brown bag, not out of a soup truck, but we feed them directly out of Burger King. We give them what we take for granted.
Yeah, which is great. It's just a fun idea to give back to the community because they give to you every time you go into the ring and then wrestle. They're your fans. So to be able to give back to them, I bet is a wonderful thing feeling wise.
Well, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't go as far as to say they give to me. I mean, if they're on the streets, they're probably not giving at all. They're more so in the point of receiving, and a lot of them don't know who I am. But being that it's Jacksonville, Florida, many of them know me for various reasons. Some know me from my cop days because they were placed in jail by me, or my correction days. They were being sent to bed by me, or waking up, or taken to court by me. And so, you know, I'm pretty well known around the Jacksonville, Florida area within. That's my hometown, obviously. But again, the giving and the reward for me is just simply putting a smile on those people's faces. You know, if one person comes up and to see the gratitude that they have, just to know that they're thought of, just to know that they're cared about, just to know that somebody thought enough of them to go out and do what we're doing, that means the world to me.
Yeah, and it's not something that you have to do. It's something that you want to do. You want to give to them, which is great. But to move on, let's talk about your early life. How was your life early on, right before you got older, and then wanted to get into wrestling?
Well, I mean, it goes back to the Love Life charity. And so before we move on, I want to tell you guys, I know you see the banner down at the bottom of the screen. If you get a moment, head over to love-alive, love-alive.org/donate, or just go visit the website. Read up on it, find out what we're about. And if you have a couple of dollars to donate, then please do it. I know we all got it. But if you feel moved enough to do so, your boy Pope appreciate it very, very much, because
Definitely.
it is back to my early life in which it brought me to this very point to start the Love Alive charity in 2012. I was walking many a times, going to the store when you're a little kid and you got to go to the grocery store to get your box of cereal and milk to bring back on a Saturday morning, and all of a sudden you're rounding the corner where the grocery store is, and then you got grown men and women that are homeless, and they're asking you as a kid for change. You know, do you have a quarter to spare? Do you have a dollar to spare? You know, having to step over them while they're lying on the sidewalk leading to whatever avenue I'm trying to go to, while they're seeing the homeless standing on the corner while we're going to the school bus stop. You know, so it's that type of upbringing in my livelihood that brought me to the Love Alive charity. So that's my younger days right there. You know, my younger days, obviously, going back to school and everything, playing sports, playing basketball, being involved in football, and doing all the fun stuff that we do in our younger years or whatnot. And let's not forget the fighting. Fighting was that was that was almost a, gosh, I don't even know how many times a week occurring it was to, you know, fight when I was coming up. Not something that necessarily I wanted to do, me and my brother. It's just something that we had to do with survival of the fittest. So I grew up a fighter, grew up loving wrestling. I oftentimes would use those wrestling maneuvers in my fight, Daddy, whether that was a DDT, whether that was the $1 Million Dream, whether you name it. If it was doable, gosh, how many people did I spike power drive on concrete and try to break their neck during a fight? No, real talk. You come double leg Pope freaking goes for a power driver and knock him out. So I was using wrestling moves well before I got into the wrestling side of things. As a matter of fact, so you can segue on up, in 5th grade was when I started doing my signature as a superstar. 5th grade was when I started practicing the way I was going to sign my name when I sign autographs. And I sound like that to this very day.
Now, did you watch wrestling or get into it at a young age, or is that, like
Well,
you said, something that?
Let's not just be darn right insulting here. You're coming across like one of those reporters talking to Trump. Like, come on, get it right. You're gonna make me you're gonna put me in Pope mode more than I did. But no, man. Yeah, of course I watch wrestling coming up, and that goes without saying. I'm not one of these new up and coming kids that have seen the wrestling and just wants to, see it for the glam, see it for the glitz and the fame. No, wrestling was a way of life. I just told you, I fought using wrestling moves. I nearly took off a kid's neck with the Russian sickle, you know. So that was a part of my childhood, sitting there next to my dad on the floor while my dad sat in his recliner every Saturday morning watching TBS, watching World Championship Wrestling, watching World Class Championship Wrestling that will come on immediately before it or immediately after, given its lineup. So that was it for me. Wasn't much of WWF down south in the Florida area, but we certainly got World Class Championship. We certainly got World Championship Wrestling, and that was everything for me. You know, watching Flair, watching Dusty and Flair, watching Dusty and Nikita's the Superpower, watching those 1987 War Game matches. I mean, those are everything.
Now I see. I read about you were got a degree in for criminal justice, and then you also trained as an amateur boxer, and you had a career in that. What made you want to do both of those?
You say when?
I said it said you had a degree in as a corrections officer, and you did that.
I'm pretty sure I wrote that up a little bit better than that on Wikipedia. Me and my team, we kind of edit that stuff ourselves because,
Okay.
you know, it's people like you and I that are putting the stuff on Wikipedia. I don't know how people look at Wikipedia and think it's fact. Wikipedia is not fact. Wikipedia is oftentimes facts that are gathered from other places that people put on, but they put their own stuff on there too, which is why I kind of go in there and I make sure that it stays a little blurred as well. But yeah, your boy, absolutely. Your boy, I straight out of high school had no idea what I wanted to do out of high school, so I went straight into law enforcement. My sister, my grandfather, they were in law enforcement. My sister was in law enforcement at the time of graduation, and she said, "Go to the police academy and do this." And I thought, hell, you know, that's a good idea. So I went to the police academy. I went over into corrections. I became dual certified to go to the street to become an officer. And during that time of 5 years with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, I started boxing. I started, you know, we have an event, a league called Guns and Hoses, where that's a big event that happens annually, biannually, and they hold these, you know, firemen versus police charity events, and you know, who don't want to see firemen and, you know, at least firemen beat up the police. So we were always the underdog, being the police side of things, but except your boy Pope. And I also would do the tough man competitions well back before they stopped them. I was doing tough man every week, and I was fighting under aliases, you know, because I didn't want to be an officer, you know, nobody knew who I was. But yeah, so I was doing that, and boxing was not something I wanted to do, but it was a way for me to get out my need to entertain, and that's what I was going out there to do, just simply entertain.
Now, did you get a chance, segueing into boxing, did you get a chance to watch the Mike Tyson, Roy Jones exhibition on a Saturday night?
I did. It was everything that I said it would be, a work.
Yeah, and then, of course, they did a draw. What did you think of that?
I mean, again, it was everything that I said it would be, a work. I mean, it's crazy how we, in the world of professional wrestling, you know, it's harder now for wrestling and wrestlers to work a crowd, but yet you got boxers, you got an entertainment extravaganza where they clearly just work the whole freaking nation, and everybody bought into it. Everybody bought into it, except your boy Pope, but they bought into it, believing that it was going to be something other than what it was. It was simply a work, a nice payday for both of them. Talk both of them into doing it. Nobody's going to lose. Nobody's going to win. Nobody gets hurt. Your legacy remains intact.
How long would it have took you to knock out Jake Paul in that first fight?
I wish Jake Paul would. I wish he would reach out. I wish he would say something on social media to Pope. I'm begging him. I've already called him out twice. I'm begging him. I can't tell you how long it's going to take me to knock him out. A lot of my knockouts came in the first round, but he looked like he's really training and putting some time in. And as they say, he's been training for the better part of a year. Your boy ain't been in the boxing ring since, you know, a minute, but I'm begging him. I would knock the piss out of him.
You've had a storied career. We kind of want to go through some of these things that you did. You're one of the most decorated wrestlers in OVW history. What would you take away from OVW? What'd you learn? Who'd you work with?
Well, in OVW, I worked with a lot of people. Obviously, Jim Cornette, Danny Davis, Al Snow, Lance Storm, and the list goes on. Those were the guys that were hands-on, that I spent the most time with. Not necessarily Lance Storm. He was in and out as a trainer. But certainly Al Snow, Jim Cornette, Daddy Davis and Rip Rogers. And what I learned from them is the art of working. That's what I learned from them, the art of working, something that is lost a lot in what we watch in the products today. A guy can take, gosh, who knows? Guy can take a brain buster on a freaking ramp way or a DDT on the floor in 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes later, 30 seconds later, they roll them in the ring, they move out of the way, and they're up running doing Hurricane Ranas. Then what in the hell happened to the DDT? What happened to the brain buster on the apron and on the outside? So that's not working. Though what we see now is a lot of people, for instance, that just get in and it's about move after move. And then the moves that they perform during the match are more bigger than what it takes to win the match. What the hell?
Yeah. I heard down there that you didn't leave after turning down a spot on the Spirit Squad. Is that true?
If you heard it, I mean, I've talked about it from time to time. But yeah, certainly. Vince brought me up to, I think we were in Cincinnati maybe, or Indianapolis, one or the other. Myself, Ken Doan, and Nick Nemeth, and the other Nick from MTV, whatever thing he was. I think he was on the Tough Enough. Mitch is his name. And yeah, so they brought us in, and they were going to, Vince was telling us he's got the Spirit Squad. He wants to. It's his idea. It's going to make a lot of money. I'm going to make a lot of money. And that's what he told us, and he wasn't lying. And I just told him that I couldn't commit to it. I wasn't comfortable doing it, and I didn't feel like I should hold up a spot if it's, just for the sake of making money, just for the sake of being called up at that particular time. So I respectfully declined the offer, and he shook my hand and told me he respect me and he'll bring me back up when he gets something for me, and that's what happened.
I thought that was a good call. Speaking of Vince once called you the future of ECW. Did that put a lot of pressure on you at the time? Like, what was that like?
No, no pressure at all. I had no idea what was going on. I don't think they figured that out to that very day. I wasn't even dressed for the occasion. I went out and I had to find, at that day when they came to me after lunch and said, "You're doing this with Vince," I had to literally go out to the store in Houston, Texas. I believe we were in Texas, and I had to go shop and try to find something real quick to wear because we didn't even know that segment was happening. I know I didn't. So no, there wasn't no pressure. It was the only pressure was, hell, I'm gonna be in the ring with Vince. Like, okay, cool, I'm gonna have fun, and that wasn't no pressure at all. The pressure was just if there was pressure, it was more on me and my delivering. And they say you're never supposed to touch Vince and never go off script. Pope been doing that from day one. From day one, Daddy.
You worked with the ECW originals. How was that? Did you have any memories of working with them?
Yeah.
Sandman and Rob Van Dam.
Good old Balls in Mahoney. Rest in peace. No
Balls Mahoney. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Balls Mahoney was one of my favorite guys in wrestling. R.I.P. Balls Mahoney. I loved that guy every time I met him. Do you got any cool Balls stories?
Well, hell, you're going to interrupt me just to say he was one of your favorite guys and not give us a story of your own? What the hell is wrong with you? Don't ever interrupt Pope again. When it comes to Balls Mahoney, it's real simple. Look, Balls was Balls. Everybody who know Balls, they know him. And I call him Ballsy. And old Ballsy comes to me one day. He goes, "Ref." He would call me Ref. He had a lot of respect for me. And he would often be sitting outside reading while everyone else was inside. He'd be out there between the two trucks of WWE, one of their tractor trailers, and he'll find a spot, pull up a chair, read a book. And one day I remember him pulling me aside. He goes, "You know what, man?" He said, "You should be called Rev." He says, "There's something about you. You just, the way you carry yourself, you're never into anything. You're respectful to everybody, and you have this ability to make everybody feel, special." No, listen to me. I mean, seriously, like, just when you're just a good guy. There's nothing bad about you. You should be a reverend. That's how, so I'm gonna call you Refer now, and that's how Balls would talk to me. And then there comes Halloween, and we're doing the ECW live on Halloween, and Ballsy come to me. He goes, Rev, man. I said, Ballsy, what's wrong? He goes, my wife just gave birth to my son. She's in the hospital right now giving birth, and I don't know what to do. Like I said, Balls. I said, let's go to Vince. Go to Vince and tell him. Yeah, you think I should, Rev? I said, yes, Balls. Go tell Vince your wife is giving birth to your son. And so you can get out of here. Okay, I'm gonna do that. And he goes, and I'm right there because I'm in there doing the taping. I'm right there. He goes in the Vince. He tries to wait for one of the cuts to be done because there was like a live promo being done, that Halloween stuff. And after the cut happened, he goes, excuse me, Vince. And he kind of gets Vince's attention, and Vince kind of looks at him as Vince does in disgust. And he goes, my wife has just she's in the hospital in labor right now having my son. And I really would like to be with her. I really. And Vince looks and he gets a smirk on his face and he says, all right, go ahead. And so Balls said, thank you, Vince. I appreciate it. Get out of here. He goes, how appropriate. Halloween, Balls has a baby. and that was it. That's my Balls story, working with all of the ECW Hall of Famers, legends, or whatever they're referred to. All of those ECW legends that I had the opportunity to work with was a part of my growth. Tommy Dreamer, Rob Van Dam, Sadman, Balls Mahoney, Sabu, all of them were a part of my growth.
You mentioned Trump earlier in the interview. You worked WrestleMania 23. Did you get to meet the man?
Didn't meet him after WrestleMania. Didn't want to meet him during WrestleMania.
Was it surreal coming out for WrestleMania 23, or you were also in the Royal Rumble? Like, are those bucket list moments for you?
You don't look at them at that moment as being such, but yeah, obviously WrestleMania was huge. It was only my, I'm just still a young green kid, and to walk out there in the second largest crowd at the time, which is like a legit 78,000 people, to walk out there in front of that, or was it 84,000? One of the others, but to walk out and just see the endless rows of people. There's a point during that matchup, if you watch it, you'll see me stand on the ring apron, and I'm just looking back. I'm not even paying attention to what's going on in the ring. I'm just looking at everything around me, just taking it in. Huge moment. Everybody that gets into this business, if they tell you they're not striving to be on the WrestleMania, that should be everyone's goal. But if they tell you that I don't care about being on WrestleMania, they're lying. I had an opportunity to do something that people that wrestled 20 years before me and 20 years in the business never had the opportunity to do. That's why I talked to Sting so much about him going and told him he had to. When we shared locker rooms, like, Steve, you got to go to WWE. You got to have that moment. You deserve it.
You also have the distinction of having Chris Benoit's last match. Is that something that's a little strange? Like, it was a really good match. Can you be proud of it? What do you think fans should think of his career?
Why wouldn't I be proud of it? I think fans think of his career just as it was. What happened was unfortunate. It's sad. It's surrounded in controversy. But I can't judge a president's work off of a president's character. The character of somebody is one thing, their work is another thing, okay? There's a lot of guys that serve you and I to this very moment, whether they're in McDonald's, whether they're at Walmart, whatever the case may be, that they have an identity outside of that work. It's called their personal lives. And what they're doing in their personal lives, we're not necessarily privy to. But if you found out the guy that was making your burger was, a child molester, or a murderer or whatnot, that will kind of change things. But, and this may not be the best analogy, but when you got that burger and you ate that burger, you went and got, hey, this burger was made so well. It was so well put together. Everything that I wanted, everything that I requested, it was on there. This was one hell of a good burger. You've ate that burger now. When you got home, you found out what you found out. Does it change the fact that that burger was not good? That the burger was good, rather? No, it doesn't change the fact that the burger was good. Does it change your opinion that you complimented the person that made that burger and made it the way it was? No, it doesn't. Because you gave a genuine reaction to something at that moment in time. So everything that happened with Chris Benoit's career is Chris Benoit's career. It speaks for itself. What happened in his personal life outside of wrestling, again, is sad, unfortunate, and it's just a horrible thing to happen. Horrible.
Speaking of terrible things, Pat Patterson died today. Did you know Pat?
Yes, I knew Pat very well. Obviously, Pat was always around, and that's just unfortunate. But that's 2020 for you. That's 2020.
The last WWE question I have for you is: Dusty Rhodes was a huge inspiration to you. What was it like working with Dusty? I mean, everyone's got a good Dusty story. What's your good Dusty story?
Well, it's a story I've told before, and I love telling it when I'm finally brought up there to WWE. When I'm rolling my bag, coming through the door, and I look down the hallway of this auditorium, this building, whatever, and all of a sudden, I see those ostrich boots and that walk and those jeans, and I said, "Oh gosh, there's the dream." And Dream is strolling down the hallway, and I just kind of freeze. I just stand still for a moment. I just freeze, and I don't want to walk past because I want to wait for him to get up to me so I can speak. But at the same time, it's like, what do I do? What do I do? So I just stood there and waited and waited and waited. And he's just a dream, man. He's just strolling down the hallway, heading to catering. And when he got up near me, I went to reach out my hand, and I went, "Hello, Dream, sir." Elijah Burke. I stuck my hand out. He shooed my hand out the way. "Get that hand out my way, boy." Put his hand over my shoulder. Say, "I don't even know your name. I know all about you. I'm the one brought you here." Say, "You and I, we're going to make a lot of money together. Go put those bags down and come back and find me in catering." And that was the beginning of something extremely special for myself, being that Dusty Rhodes is the number one reason that I wanted to get into pro wrestling. So that's my Dusty.
Yeah, as everybody knows, after your career with WWE, you went over to TNA. How would you describe your career there?
Today, everybody refers to me as Pope more than they do Elijah Burke. I think that encapsulates that question. That encapsulates it right there. Everybody refers to me as Pope. Only a few call me Elijah Burke.
Yeah. Now, how was it working for Dixie Carter or Vince Russo?
Working for Dixie was wonderful. It was a family atmosphere back there, a great family atmosphere. It was easy to work for Dixie Carter. You didn't have to feel like you were walking on the eggs, and it was a chill moment. It was as chilled as chill could be working for Dixie Carter. Working with Vince Russo is really for myself, it was a great experience as well. When I got down to TNA, I wrestled Sean Spears as Elijah Burke. They're going to bring me on as Elijah Burke, much like they like to do with a lot of the guys that come from WWE. You want to use that momentum that they had previously in the worldwide attention and notoriety. But I said, "Vince, I said, take this disc." I said, "It's 4 minutes long." I said, "Please go watch this for a second." It was a promo of the Pope. Everything that I envisioned the Pope to be, from the entrance to the men that I had around, the servants that were around me, that I walk up and they form a step so I could step on them and get into the ring. And once I got in the ring, they all came behind me and formed a chair, and I sat down. It was all of that. And Vince Russo, he said, "Okay, Pope." Elijah, he went in there. He said, "Bro," actually. "Okay, bro." So he went in, he watched it. 5 minutes later, he comes just stumping, just fast-paced walk. Bro, you have to be the Pope, bro. Forget about Elijah Burke. You have to be the Pope, bro. You know why? Because the Pope is money, bro. I'm going to tell them, forget about Elijah Burke. You're the Pope, bro. I already got the name. Dinero, because dinero means money, bro. And every time I'm working with Vince Russo and Pope and TNA, I'm sure you guys have seen many of Pope's stuff in TNA. I was never wrote for. I was never written for. You know, Ness would come around the corner. We're waiting to get started on a promo segment or whatever. He goes, "Okay, Pope, hey, what are we doing today, Pope? What you got for me, Pope?" I'm like, "Well, Vince, you got to tell me what we're talking about first. Come on, just be the Pope, bro. Just be the Pope." And so I, I just, well, Vince, oh, you're talking about Devon and his kids, you know, just kind of, you know, do your thing, talk about Devon. And so that was the extent of direction, creative direction I would get from Vince Russo, which was great because he would tell me that's how The Rock became Rock. That's how Stone Cold, you know, he didn't write for those guys. He just told them, and they had their own creativity. Of course, they would write for him, but they didn't have to follow that junk. And so he said, "Look, bro, I'm a 40-something-year-old Italian, bro, okay? I can't write for the Pope. I don't know what the Pope would say. I don't know what the Pope would do, bro. That's you. You're the Pope." And so that I love working with Vince.
How is it being able to work with a talent like AJ Styles? You know how he is right now. He's a high-level wrestler in WWE. How was it working for him back then?
It was the same as now. AJ's still phenomenal.
Now, you left TNA, but then came back in the broadcasting booth. How did that come about?
We were discussing a return, and we were working on a deal for a return, and Taz ended up leaving. Don't know what the situation surrounding Taz leaving was, but he ended up leaving and opened up a opportunity for talks about that. And it was like, and when the door opened for broadcast, and then it was just, that was almost a dream come true. When I first came up to WWE, the trainer OVW, and I got signed to my developmental, that actually brought me up to WWE to do to run over some broadcasts, in which I was not ready for at the time to be a commentator. But this time I felt more comfortable, and I knew, you know, a two-man booth. Josh was very good, and I'm helping and organizing, so it was a great thing.
We're running out of time here, but we'd be amiss if we didn't ask you about the NWA TV title. You had a hell of a comeback against Ziggy Dice on Primetime Live. You seemed very emotional after winning that title. What does the NWA TV Championship mean to you?
Well, it goes back to the beginning, and this is a great way to wrap it up, actually, because it goes back to the beginning of this whole conversation when my man over there, Dan, asks about the did I watch wrestling, after I just told him that I beat people up with Russian sickles and DDTs, and see how I'm throwing you back under the bus there. But so all in love, though, my brother, all in love. But again, this title, which is on my desk, it is the title that was so meaningful to us watching back in the day when we would see Dusty and Arn go at it for this title, and we see, you know, Nikita and Luger, or Luger and Nikita, and Tully and Nikita, and Tully and Dusty, and Arn and anybody, you know. And then the fact that Stone Cold was the last person to actually carry this particular title, this version of it. He was the last person to carry it before NWA was resurrected. So to win the NWA title, TV title, it just from my history and me being an NWA guy, it means the world, because now it ties me to the Dusty Rhodes, it ties me to the Tully, the Arn, the Nikita, the Bobby Eaton, you know, the Stone Cold, as I mentioned. You know, long after certain things are gone, they're forgotten about. We've heard of many promotions, and you guys know of many promotions that no longer exist. They're not honored. The legacy of those promotions aren't spoke of. There's a reason WWE to this day don't even acknowledge some people as world champion when they were a world champion in certain promotions. But this right here, this NWA World Television Championship, that will never go without being acknowledged, because it's history, and it's tied within the history of WWE as well, since they own a lot of that history.
Is there anything you want to plug before we get going?
No, man, look, you guys have been wonderful. You've been great. Obviously, again, you guys have talked about the charity. Just for your listeners, your viewers, lovealive.org. It's my charity, love-alive.org. Just go read about it, learn what we do to serve our community. If you want to follow your boy Pope, you can do so on at DA Black Pope. That's DA Black Pope. Why is it the Black Pope? Well, hell, because I'm only one. I'm one of my kind. There's never been another. So, so it's the Black Pope on Twitter. It's at the Black Pope on Instagram. It's also Facebook.com/Elijah Burke on Facebook. If you guys want to know anything, hit me up. This has been cool. This has been fun. I thank you guys I felt like I was on a game show, round robin questions.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We really appreciate
thank you very much.
Thanks for giving us the rub.
I appreciate it. And if your boy wasn't in a rush and didn't have to look the way I look and get back out on the run right now, we would have done a little something else. But I'll be sure to drop back in and give you guys a promo or something to plug your show if you want me to do
that. No doubt. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. Have a great night.
Yep.
So what a cool guy. I thought he was neat.
Yeah, so did I. But right before we wrap things up, at the Buzz, we got new socials that come, different platform, same podcast. We love everybody, but here's our promo.
Get the Lambo car, house in the hills with the stars. Told you I'd raise the bar, told you that I'd go far. Check me out now.
Once again, we are on the Buzz, different platform. You can find us all those socials on there, on Facebook, on IG, and on Twitter. And that's a wrap. You have anything to say before we get going, Gary?
No, just go to manscaped.com and use our promo codes. And yeah, go to Love Alive and donate.
Yep, and I am Dan. This is Gary. We are out.